Good Erev Shabbos and in Chodesh, month of Adar is just starting, the month where our joy should, please God, increase and increase with every single day. Special Shabbos, Shabbos Parsha Shkalim, where we remind the community that we have a mutual obligation to support the temple, our shuls, and each other, and that we need each other because we're only half shkalim without each other. And it's all taking place in the context of Shabbos Parshas Mishpatim, the civil laws of the Torah. And you know, when you look around today, humanity and nature seem to be fragmented, strife-ridden. Each individual seems to be grasping for fulfillment and realization via often different conflicting avenues, conflicting with each other. And to make peace is to unify and integrate diverse individual components, but it's not about blurring the borders of or nullifying identities. It's when diverse entities can join forces as diverse entities and work toward a common goal, each contributing their distinct qualities to the achievement of mutual endeavor. But you know, it's easy to say, it's harder to do. You ever notice how difficult it is to get from the ideal to the real? And this week, you know, it's fascinating. We read about the extensive preparations that preceded the divine revelation of Mount Sinai. I mean, you know, the positioning and the preparation internally, and then purifying themselves, etc., eating the man. And yet the climax of it all, the shattering, emotionally charged moment that the world had anxiously waited for 26 generations, the giving of the Ten Commandments at Mount Sinai, was over in a couple of short minutes. And people were kind of left, okay, now what? Now what is reality? Now what is Mishpatim? Now what is a realization that any relationship of enduring value rests primarily on the quality and the depth of the commitment. And a true, meaningful, and genuine bond doesn't need lengthy poetic declarations of love to validate it. The ultimate relationship is one that's forged by a mutual pledge of commitment that will stand in the face of any of life's vicissitudes. And it can take a moment. It can take a very brief moment, but it establishes a reality that's meant to stand the test of time. And an essential prerequisite in the building of such a bond is a spiritual, emotional preparedness that takes time to nurture. Finally, the moment of marriage at Sinai had arrived. But now comes real life. The litmus test that determines the true value of a marriage is when we demonstrate our willingness not only to meet our responsibilities to one another, but to discover precisely what the other person's needs are. Parshas Mishpatim and the rules. You know, the wedding was exciting, but real married life is far more meaningful. And how do you forge that? How do you get from the ideal to the real? He started off by mentioning of the problems that we see in the world around us. And we see so many problems. Problems with families, problems at work, problems in the community, problems in Israel. Haredim, Chilonim, gotten way out of hand. There's so much of a sort of us and them mentality at the moment, where even our right hand is fighting with our left. Imagine how different things could be if we were to try and notice just one nice thing about our spouse, about our kids, about our parents, about our colleagues. Think how the household could change if we could compliment our spouses, children, and acquaintances at least once a day. Not nonsense stuff, real. Okay, you look and you'll find something really there that you can say, hey, this is good about you. Just a matter of taking the trouble to look. Imagine how much better we would feel if we could focus on the positive instead of on the negative. Imagine how much different us as a Jewish nation would look if, even as we recognized evil, we refrained from letting that evil or that not nice stuff define the person that we're talking to. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter is quoted as having said, "If I could give only one piece of advice to my students, I would tell them that whenever they meet somebody new, no matter who it is, they should try and find at least one thing that they like about the person." So that's an exercise in moving from the ideal to the real, from Mount Sinai to Mishpatim. Think of the person perhaps you dislike the most in the world and remind yourself why you dislike them, if you can remember. And now think of something else, anything nice about that person. If you get the opportunity and you have the nerve, tell them about it. You'll find that you'll have lifted a heavy weight from your heart. You've let go of a lot of negativity and toxicity. And you'll feel the lightness of spirit. And you'll have just fulfilled the mitzvah of our Torah. And you'll have made a fundamental change in your own neshama. So we shift from ideal to real. We move from the I, or the Eid of ideal, to embrace the R. In English, when we say R, we're always talking in the plural. It's not just me. It's not just I. It's we. It's you. It's they are real. Wishing you a really good Shabbos, a really good month of Adar, and it should be joyous beyond your imagination. Shabbat Shalom.